vinyl community, welcome back to my channel. I'm of course Mark from Wandering Souls, back at you with a new video. Today is just a subject someone else in the VC just pumped up with a thread. Chris at CGC Vinyl made a new thread about bassists. If we talk about musicians, a lot of the time always goes over the vocalist or the guitar player or how great the drummer is, but the bass player is often overlooked somehow. While it is a pretty important foundation for the rhythm section in the band's music, so sometimes I wonder why, there are a lot of great bass players out there, not only in rock and metal, but also in prog, in jazz, in funk, and a lot of other genres that have a great bass player. And a bass player is a lot of times, like I said, overlooked, always a bit pushed to the back. And somehow it's kind of funny that there are some genres like funk and rock and metal, especially also that push a bit further the bassist to the front, of course, without exceptions. Of course, a lot of black metal bands, for example, seem to push away the bass under the guitar lines, or there's not a bass at all. So yeah, it's kind of funny how it all works here, but I found bass players always a big having a big important role in music, especially in rock and metal. Yeah, it lays kind of a foundation together with the drummer, of course, to have a steady rhythm section, giving the music a bit heavier tone to it. And some bass players even do more than that. Just they add something of their own style to a certain piece of music, and that's most of the time that are the bass players that I like the most. Musicians that are innovative and trying to push up the limit and the quality of the music. That's really important to me. It not only counts for the bass players, of course, all musicians that are good and contribute to make it a great song or a great piece of music that that it really shines. So yeah, I talked about the bass players. So let's, he said, just pick out 5, but of course I will talk about 5 bass players in particular, which I will talk a bit deeper about it. But I just wanted to mention some other bass players that I really like. Not I'm gonna dive into those styles, but to me they are really important to my development of in evolution in listening to music. There are a lot of great bass players out there, like I said, but I'm trying to keep it a bit to a bit of rock and metal, because I'm a rock and a metal lover. Not that I don't listen to other music, but that's the main thing I listen to. So the first name I'm gonna mention, of course, is a bass player that a lot of people will mention, and also Chris, was it Chris or someone else I watched already mentioned this, of course, is Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath. Really important musician, of course, for development of heavy metal and laying that steady bass line out there. Another great bass player, I think, is Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yeah, fantastic musician, really great bass player, have really great funky lines, combining different kind of genres into one piece of music, and that's what makes the Red Hot Chili Peppers so unique. And Flea is definitely one of the biggest contributor to their music, and it's definitely a really specific sound. If you hear the music, you definitely know that is Flea. Fantastic bass player. Another fantastic bass player, I think, is Koga Michiko from Gasseric Spin. Fantastic female bass player. her grooves and slides and rhythm sections are phenomenal. She not only plays that in Gastric Spin, but also in another band she was in called Doll's Box, which was a kind of collaboration of four musicians of Gastric Spin, adding the singer Fuki from Unlucky Morpheus. It's a really interesting combination and it really works. So definitely would recommend go look into her because she's a phenomenal player and she's not pushed out there. I think she has a lot of quality to her bass sound and definitely worth looking into. Another Japanese female bass player is of course Rosana Mio from of course ex Love Bites and is now in Chaos Control and was also in Destros in the past. Another great, phenomenal bass player. I always call her the female version of Steve Harris. Um, Phenomenal player. Definitely love looking into her bass lines are great. Great gallopings. Great in addition to the drum work. Great female player. Another great bass player is Derek Boyer from Suffocation. Love his playing style, the way he plays, and the thickness and his quality and technical skills are fantastic. Another great bass player. Death metal bands, but still really great players. A lot of death metal bassists are great as well, especially the technical ones. Um, Alex Webster, Cannibal Corpse, of course, is worth mentioning. Really influential in bass sound for a lot of death metal bass players because he's one of the earlier bass players, but he's a fantastic player, definitely. Of course, Lemmy of Motorhead. Yeah, can't leave out the list without him. Yeah, phenomenal player. Definitely adds a lot of layers to the guitars. He almost kind of plays similar way as the guitar, so that's really cool. That a lot of bass players in the past seem to play different than he did in the 70s, and definitely gives it a more heavy tone to the metal sound to a lot of bands that followed later. And yeah, a great influential bass player, definitely. Joey DeMaio of Manowar, a dude that is a lot overlooked, band that is a lot overlooked or ditched, bitched, or you know all about it. But you can't deny that Joey DeMaio is a great player. Yeah, just look at the listen to the early material of Manowar, and you know why. Um, Great virtuose bassist with a thick sound. Awesome player. Whatever you think about the man, he can play. So definitely. Shane Embry, Napalm Death. I want to mention. I love his thickness, his grooves. Um, Great grindcore bass player. Definitely worth mentioning. Frank Bello, Anthrax. A lot of people mention Dan Lilker, but this guy is also fantastic. The follower. His follow-up bass player in Anthrax. He plays in Dan Lilker in the back in the day and still going with the bands. Great player. Yeah, a lot of overlook, but he definitely has a lot of qualities. Les Claypool from Primus, definitely one of the funkiest, grooviest rock bass players out there, combining a lot of styles. He has definitely known style, and he is a fantastic player. He has an exceptional weird voice, but his bass player is fantastic. Definitely look into his bass work. That's fantastic. Steve DiGiorgio, of course, I had to mention. Say This, Death, Testament, whatever band he was in. Yeah, another phenomenal player. He can't deny his bass work. His slides is great. Heavy, thick tone. Yeah, phenomenal player. Can't say anything bad about him. Then of course you have Timmy C or Tim Comerford from Rage Against the Machine, another great groovy bass player. Um, yeah, really love his work. Definitely worth mentioning. Um, of course Billy Sheehan, Mr. Big, and a lot of other things. Phenomenal hard rock bass player. Yeah, great musician. And the last one I want to mention, which is a really pretty young dude, he's just 21 years old, and that is Mayu from Asterism. That dude is so talented. Not only uh, the guitar player in the band and the drummer, but also that bass player. Keep an eye on that dude. I think he even plays 7-string bass, so that's not seen a lot, and he does a really great job. Has really good rhythms, good melodic parts. Gonna watch him. Great bass player. So that is my quick wrap up of some bass players I like. There's a lot more, of course. I could make the list eternally long, but I'm not gonna do that. Over to the main course, which is the 5 ones I picked. First one is a pretty young girl, actually 20 years old still, and replacing Rana Mio in Love Bites. Of course, I'm talking about Fami. Fami is an exceptional musician. Has a lot of he's a great personality, friendly, talks a lot, but next to that, she is a phenomenal player. A lot of great grooves, great rhythms. Has a really heavy tone to her sound. Great galloping riffs in Love Bites, but definitely by replacing Mio, there was a big step, but she definitely pulled it off. The new album with her is Judgment Day, the first one she's on, and they're also gonna put out a live DVD. I'm gonna watch that, guys. That is phenomenal. I have seen the live DVD, and it's really great. It definitely is a great follow-up, great replacement to Miho. The bass playing is just as good as Mio, but bringing that kind of extra to it in some of the songs that really surprised me and give it her own twist. Not every song is changed, of course, because it's still Love Bites, and we want to hear that same thing how it was back in the past, of course. But there are some songs that she adds a bit extra to it, and that says a lot about her. She's willing to invest time to make a song great, and yeah, she's a phenomenal player. It shines on the album of Love by Judgment Day. Go look it up. The title track is really interesting. For example, yeah, fantastic stuff. But really great. If you want to hear how really good she is, just listen to her solo album, which is released prior to she was in Love Bites. I think a couple of years earlier. She was really young when she released that, just like 18 or something when she released that one, and that definitely is really special. Her funky grooves definitely come out in those. The music is definitely different than Love Bites, but that makes it interesting, and to look where she comes from and what she's gonna add to Love Bites. Not that Love Bites is changed a lot for sounds, but she definitely adds more layers to it, and I'm definitely looking forward what she's gonna bring in the future. If she's gonna contribute in the writing of the music, that would be interesting. What she would come up. A lot of the music on this album is composed by the guitar players and vocalist Asami. Surprisingly, a lot of by Asami even. So there's definitely a lot of vocal wise and guitar leads and things going on here, but the bass work is definitely a thing to watch as well. It's definitely a quality at this band, so go check out Love Bites and Fami. So that's definitely one of the artists I can recommend you. Next up is a band that is dear to me. I have a lot of albums from them. I'm only missing one album from this band, and I'm talking about studio albums, of course. I don't want to have all the bootlegs and everything from this band. I'm okay with. I hear there are some live albums. Don't get me wrong, but overall, I just want to have the studio albums. And here and there I have a DVD, live DVD or live album. to see how good see the songs live, of course. I've seen a couple of times live as well, but I'm talking about Dream Theater. Images and Words is the album I'm gonna talk about, of course. The bass player on this one is John Mayung. What can I say? 6-string bass player, a lot of quality to it. His sound is definitely heavily present on this album. Take the track Take the Time, for example, it starts with a bass line even. There's a lot of addition to his to this music. He thinks he writes one lyrics on this one as well, but that's not important to the music, I think. Well, it's an important thing, but not how the bass sounds. But overall, he's really contributing. It's a Dictator's definitely band that has a lot of musical qualities in there, and they push each other somehow up, and that makes this band so great. The first album with James Labrie on vocals, but it's definitely one of my favorite albums. And the bass work is definitely one of the things that I really love on this album. The sound is thick, it's heavy, it has a lot of technical things in there. It's pushing songs up where it needs to be, given an interesting addition to the music, their sound, and this is definitely a bass player that has his own thing. Yeah, there's a lot of great things. This band definitely was in the past called the metal version of Rush. Geddy Lee's a fantastic bass player. He's definitely influential on these guys, on this guy as well. But he definitely has his own thing going on, and it's a great, phenomenal player. Definitely worth mentioning. Geddy Lee's all the way, also a really great one. I really like. But John Mayung from Dream Theater. Great stuff. A lot of a really influential bass player on metal, on thrash metal and metal in general, and rock in general, is of course Cliff Burton. This is probably a name that will pop up a lot of lists, definitely in the metal scene. Cliff Burton was definitely one. It has an own personality and own sound, and it brought a lot to Metallica. Exactly the thing what they needed, the perfect replacement for Ron McGovney, of course. Not that that was a bad player, but Cliff Burton was way better. And it definitely already started on the first album. A lot of stuff written by a lot of other members, but the instrumental track Anastasia Pulling Thief, heavy distorted bass sound in that one, really great stuff. A lot of influential to other bass players. The early Metallica work is definitely my favorite, and Cliff Burton is definitely a big factor in that. Of course, next to James Hetfield and Kirk Hammett, of course. But yeah, it's phenomenal. Definitely one of the best thrash metal bass players that we have lost in the past. Yeah, we all know the story, the bus accident in Denmark, I think it was. Yeah, really sad, dying in 1986 at a young age. It definitely could come for. I wonder how this band would sound like if he was still alive, actually. That's how influential he was in the sound of Metallica. Heavy distorted where it needs to be, supporting where it needs to be. Has an own sound, an own thing. Contributes a lot of the songwriting. Another great album with him, of course, Master of Puppets. But Ride the Lightning is also one you could pull out. Yeah. What can I say? Melodic, sometimes as well, even in the longer songs, in the melodic parts. Orion, for example. Yeah, you know, Cliff Burton is a legend, and sadly missed. Definitely. Don't get me wrong, Jason Newsted was a fantastic replacement. He's a phenomenal player as well, but he's not Cliff Burton, and he never tended to be. But yeah, you know, great influential player to a lot of musicians. Next up is again one that might pop up in a lot of lists, and it is definitely one of the most influential bass players in metal history. Um, his galloping sound is well known by with a lot of people, metalheads and rockers, and yeah, this band is really big, of course, by his doing as well, because he's the founder of the band, writes a lot of songs. His sound is really present. Does a lot of things. The galloping riffs, the here there the melodic parts. You know, it's a really great bridge to the guitar work. Um, yeah, fantastic. Let's put out the first album with it already starts with the first album, a track called "Running Free." The track is a lot of bass, the drum intro, and then dun 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 dun. You know, it's well known. Another great track on here is Phantom of the Opera. That's also one you have to listen to. That bass work, it's fast, it has a lot of galloping, but it's really good. Great. It's even melodic at places. It follows the guitar lines fantastically. His bass work in the song is phenomenal. And then he go melodic in Strange World, for example. Transylvania is great, bass lines. Yeah, nothing wrong about Steve Harris on this album. Another great album is, for example, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Moonchild, Can I Play With Man? Has a really great groovy rhythm to it. Clairvoyant, of course, opens with a bass line. And then you have the title track, which has a long bridge again, where he's going a bit more melodic. It also happened in Rhyme of Jason Mariner on Power Slave, to name a song. It definitely proves that he has more than only the grooves and the galloping riffs. Phenomenal player. Also, the album Somewhere in Time has a lot of great bass lines, and that every album, if you like Iron Maiden or not, there is always Steve Harris's input, um, which makes Iron Maiden sound unique. And yeah, his galloping riffs are used in a lot of heavy metal and power metal bands that came in the 80s, 90s. Definitely all are influenced by Iron Maiden, and Steve Harris is one of the biggest contributors to that, next to the twin lead guitars, of course, from Dave and Adrian. So influential, yes. Recognizable everywhere. Has his own sound, which is phenomenal. Yeah, you can't deny the influence of Steve Harris. Um, Last one in the list is a band that is really dear to me the last couple of years. Is of course bandmates, and their bass player, female bass player, is called Misa. Misha is also already talked about by Kim of This Is Music, and I don't mind. I think everyone should talk about Misa. Misa is one of those bass players that can lift up a band to the next level. Let's put it that way. I wonder if she would live bandmate. I hope not. What other things she would, you know, make, and how influential then she will be. But I don't want to think about that actually, because within bandmates, she's not the main composer. That is of course Kanami Tono, the guitar player. but Misa and Akane, the drummer, are a lot of adding things to there to make the sound um, a lot of effort, exciting, thick, steady, innovative, always involving. Um, there's a lot of stuff going on in bandmates music. That's also, of course, the due effect of Misa. Misa may not be the main composer, but she is adding a lot to the sound. In the early days, that was not the the big shining star, but how the band evolved per album, the more influence Misa gave, at a lot of to the contribution of the writing. Her sound is again really recognizable and also really versatile. She's not only supporting the drums, but also the guitars, the vocals. Have solos herself. There are also bass solos in a lot of songs. Not She just puts the bass in how it's how the song it needs, it needs it. How to put it that way. Um, she is when she writes, she thinks about the song, how it would contribute, if it comes give something special, or if it's needed or not. Um, yeah, she's really influential in their sound. The bass work is definitely recognizable. Um, Try a track like Play or Dice or Manners or there is a lot of stuff going on with her bass work. It can be melodic, it can be groovy, it can be funky, it can be really steady, just being to the point. Um, but she also can support a vocal line here and there, or introduce to a new part of the song where it needs to, just a little slide or a little note or a little variation on a continuing theme, like take the song Manners for example. um, it has a lot of same parts in the song, but they're all differently played. That not only count for Akane, but also for Misa. And Misa is from another world in my opinion. Her bass work is so great. Definitely can tell she puts a lot of time and effort to her sound. She's practicing a lot, and it makes her better and better. And you definitely can tell the Akane, Misa, and the Kanami trio is pushing each other's boundaries. Not only tempo wise, but also technical wise, um, melodic wise. And of course with rhythmic wise, it's fantastic. That's of course, Kim already talked about this album. Of course, yeah, you can't deny it. Dice is on here, of course. Um, yeah, Play is on here. Fantastic bass lines. Um, yeah, great play in this album. But also take this EP, Unleash from 2022. The instrumental song from now on. It's a big Kanami show. I know, but it's also great bass work in there. Unleash has great things going on. And what about Influencer? Take that track and listen closely to it. And then of course the live version of Hate. Everybody has seen it by now. The bass and guitar battle between Kanami and Misa is legendary now. Definitely push each other there. Yeah, great tone to her bass work. She plays with the pick regular bass, steady bass work, but also slaps when it needs to be, with the fingers, and being melodic where it needs to be, slides, and yeah, great things going on every time. She's just a phenomenal player. Definitely one of my favorite bass players at the moment, and it's not without a reason. So if you haven't checked out Bandmate yet, just for the old general of the greatness of the bands, just do it for Misa's bass work, because that is fantastic. Um, and that's fantastic about this band. There are no egos. They give each other space, and that makes them, everyone shines and push each other to a bigger level. And yeah, I'm glad Misa's sound is so prominent in the bandmates' sound. Yeah, fantastic. I'm looking forward to the new material, where what there she's gonna contribute to. It's every time a journey, and yeah, phenomenal bass player, still young, so still years to go. I think she is just turned 31 or 32, I think. October 15th, I think. So yeah, um, we'll see where it goes. But yeah, that's the bass players I wanted to talk about. I hope you discovered a new great bass player, and of course there were some obvious names in there as well. Cliff Burton and Steve Harris are, you know, well-known figures. Yeah, that's my contribution. Hope you like it, Chris, and everyone who's watching. Hope you guys also jump on this thread. I know this video is a bit longer than it needs to be, but sometimes we need to talk about more in depth, and some bass players definitely deserve that, to give the bass a bit more kudos to rock and metal. It's definitely an important instrument, and oversnowed a lot. So that's it for this video, guys. Hope you liked it. Let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about my picks, about what your favorite bass players are. If you want to help on this thread, please do so. It would be awesome if you make a video about that. Let me know, and especially CGC Vinyl, who started this thread. Also watch this music video about this, because he has also great picks on his videos, and definitely will be more videos out there that are hopped on this thread. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe, give it a like, hit the bell, etc, etc. Share the video, whatever you want, to give this channel a boost. And check out CGC Vinyl. He's going to 1,000 subs now almost, so give him that extra sub so he reaches that 1,000 mile. That would be fantastic for him. He's working really hard for it, so he definitely deserves it. So thanks for watching. See you guys next video. Cheers.